Given the fact that no one knows the true nature of how a curse can occur, it has been a tale often fraught with mystery as much as terror. Though the ways an individual can be cursed can vary depending on culture, one thought that has always been the same is the ownership of an object and what that does to its owner. Often referenced throughout history of cursed objects of whom have brought nothing but horror to its new home, there seems to be a retelling of these same themes to this day in modern tales of cursed objects that still find themselves in the ownership of families filled with misfortune. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be going over 6 of these cursed objects that many might not take a second glance at and assume that they are nothing more than a normal everyday possession. The mirror at Myrtles Plantation. The location of a former plantation home found in St. Francisville down in Louisiana is often reported by the locals and paranormal researchers as one of the most haunted houses in the United States. Surrounding the land are numerous tales and local myths that report strange and violent histories that many people believe contributed to the property's terrible hauntings. One such myth is that of the cursed mirror at the Myrtles Plantation residency. According to the legend, many years ago when the home was still an operating plantation with a variety of slave families, there were many slaves of whom practiced black magic and voodoo spells that were used to aid them in their goals. One night, as the owners of the plantation home were preparing for a meal, a slave of the plantation had created a special concoction to poison the family and had slipped the poison into the owner's food during their meal. The entire family began complaining of terrible aches and pains and all died shortly thereafter. This was not enough for the angered slave, however, as the slave grabbed hold of one of their many mirrors used as a vanity and performed a special ritualistic ceremony to trap the souls of the family inside the large mirror. Oddly enough, one of the mirrors believed to have been used by the family many years ago and found in the home tucked away in a back room is often reported as the center of the hauntings for anyone of whom lives at the residency. Many people have reported seeing handprints against the mirror as if someone had been resting their hand against it only before shortly disappearing without any marks or fingerprints. Strange markings and symbols will often appear as well with no explanation before dissipating. One such owner has even gone as far as claiming they had once seen figures dressed in old-fashioned clothes standing in the reflection and screaming to be let out. The mirror still resides at the old Myrtles Plantation to this day. Annabelle, the Raggedy Ann doll. Almost everyone used to own a Raggedy Ann doll back in its heyday, along with a Raggedy Andy doll to match your set. Some of these dolls can even go for as much as almost $1,000, and it appears that several different companies sold several different variations of these incredibly popular designs. In the case of 2 paranormal researchers and self-proclaimed demonology experts, however, the Raggedy Ann doll holds a very special place for them in a locked display cabinet fitted and reinforced with a strong encasing metal. This is due to the fact that their Raggedy Ann doll was recovered in a terrible haunting case of which they investigated many years ago. The doll was named Annabelle and displayed impossible characteristics that led its previous owners to suspect that it was cursed. It had the ability to move on its own, tap against objects, write terrifying messages, and even supposedly speak out at random times. After the 2 paranormal researchers came, they took the doll away and locked it up in a display case to prevent it from ever being released again. This doll would later go on to inspire the Annabelle movie franchise and is often at the center of strange paranormal investigations. The Hands Resist Him Painting. The artist Bill Stoneham was often known by those closest to him for creating lifelike paintings that held a sense of photorealism based off memories from his childhood or actual photographs taken by his parents many years ago. One day, as he put paint to canvas and painted a strange image that would later go on to be his most popular piece ever created, he would find that his own creation would come to life in the most terrifying way. The painting was later known as the Hands Resist Him painting and portrayed an image of a photograph that had been taken back when Bill Stoneham was a child standing alongside one of his childhood friends as his parents snapped the picture. Interestingly enough, upon closer examination of the photograph, Bill Stoneham noticed that in the reflection against the window pane in the original photograph, there had been what looked like a pair of hands stretching out towards him. He decided to add the image into his painting, believing that perhaps it was nothing more than an awkward reflection from one of the parents standing behind the camera. It appears that after making this decision, Bill Stoneham inadvertently turned the painting into a haunted item. The painting has since been reported by owners and enthusiasts of the painting to be terribly haunted and to have been associated with several people of whom have already passed away. Back in 2000, the painting was put on eBay along with a detailed story of how it was haunted and the fates of the past owners. The painting is still on the market. The Haunted Wedding Dress. Back in 1914, an old rumour was told that led many to believe a strange wedding dress was haunted by a woman in white that would visit those of whom owned the dress. The rumour claimed that back in 1849, there was a woman by the name of Anna Baker, of whom was born to a rich family in the state of Pennsylvania and had fallen madly in love with a low-class ironworker. Unfortunately for Anna, her father refused to allow her to marry a man from a lower class and completely forbade the wedding from ever taking place. If Anna and the ironworker were to ever marry, then it would mean Anna would be forced to live a penniless life with nothing to show for it, as her father would have completely cut her off. The ironworker refused to allow this to happen, and it appeared that the wedding had been completely called off from ever happening, despite Anna having already bought the wedding dress for the event. The father had believed that after a few years, Anna would completely forget about the whole ordeal and marry within her own class. This turned out to not be the case, as Anna Baker would eventually go on to live the remainder of her life completely single and never dating ever again, passing away in 1914. Since her passing, it appears that her wedding dress has been cursed with her presence, as those who visit the house of which she lived in, that was later turned into a museum, will often report seeing strange apparitions walking about wearing the wedding dress, along with the dress itself often moving on its own inside of its display case. The Anguished Man Painting. Although the story seems a little hazy on the specifics, a man by the name of Sean Robinson from Cumbria, England, reportedly is in the possession of the most haunted painting of all time. According to his own personal account, Sean Robinson had purchased a painting that depicted a man of blood screaming in terrible pain and would often hang it up in his bedroom. He found that every night that he had the painting hung up in his room, he would see terrifying images as well as hearing strange and unexplainable noises. When Sean Robinson looked more into who created the painting, he discovered that the previous artist had made the reds of the paint more realistic by actually incorporating his own blood, and that shortly after finishing this painting, he had taken his own life and passed away close to the canvas. After hearing this story, Sean Robinson believed the painting to be overwhelmingly haunted and has since kept it locked away at a hidden location. The Cursed Phone Number. Although it might seem like something out of a chilling horror movie, it appears that a Bulgarian phone number was at the centre of rumours for being a haunted and cursed number. It appears that every person of whom was given the phone number during its 10-year period of being in public use had almost immediately passed away after receiving the number in a terrible and horrifying manner, many of which were victims of random and violent crimes of whom the killer was never found. Though many might scoff at the idea of a cursed phone number, it appeared that the Bulgarian mobile phone company treated the reports with a serious precaution, and after the last gruesome murder of a victim of whom was provided that number, the company completely suspended that number from ever being used again. Even if you ask the mobile company to provide you with that phone number, paying for a special custom digit, they will remove the number no matter the cost, which has only helped to keep the rumours of the cursed phone number alive and well. But what do you all think of the many different cursed objects found all around the world and the stories that accompany them. Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.